What's going on, guys? It's Perna here, and today I'm going to tell you how I made over $4 million from fitness. Now, just before I get into this video, if you're interested in being an online coach or you like this content, hit that subscribe button below, because in the next video, I'm giving away a couple of vouchers, Gymshark EHP voucher. I'm going to buy them and shout you guys out. All you have to do is subscribe and then comment anything below when you're done. And today we're going to get straight into it. So for context, if you guys don't know, I help online fitness coaches right now, but I started in fitness. I started with online coaching, influencer path, got my YouTube up to 800K, Instagram over 500K. And in this whole process, I have dedicated so much time to like my knowledge and bettering my knowledge. And I've made so many fucking mistakes. It's insane. And so I want to help you guys avoid those mistakes today, but at the same time, get some insight on what is actually possible and what I did, and just give it all out and leave it on the table to show you guys, because I've never really told my story before in that context. And I thought, hey, if some of you want to listen to it, are you interested, then let's go. So I'll start off with early days. So I got into the gym like most people, 15 years old, loved it. It became my number one obsession. I was not good at sport. I wasn't really good at the gym, actually. I just built an okay physique, like 65 kilos dripping wet, and I just loved it. I really loved the gym. So I went to uni, did a Bachelor of Commerce at Melbourne, fucking hated it. It was like, I've never felt like more alone in my life, basically. Like I really felt anxious. I felt out of place. I felt lost in the world. That's like, if I think about it, it was a really shit feeling. So I'm 19 years old, I'm at uni, and my only escape is going to the gym. So I went to uni like 3 days a week, just drove in, didn't speak to anyone. Probably should have changed that. But I just didn't like it. And I felt, really out of place. And I'd go to gym in like my break, and that's where I kind of felt at home. So all I really knew is that I loved the gym. Now, I started posting around this time when I was like 19 years old. I'm posting photos on Instagram because I was documenting my physique, and I looked good for a 19-year-old. I thought I looked pretty good. I didn't really know too much about what was going on, but like I tried my best, and I had some traction. Like I had some good traction, maybe a few thousand followers, and I was like, this is crazy. I didn't know anything could come from it. The only thing I knew success-wise was seeing like those famous people that I'd go line up for at the expo. I remember going to the booth and lining up like the Strong Liftwear booth and seeing like Aaron Curtis, Calvin Moga, like these guys that I was like, this is crazy. These people, like, do they do this for a living? Like I didn't have a clue what was going on. I was just loving fitness in the gym. So I knew one thing. I knew that I wanted to do something with fitness. And I think a lot of people start there. I didn't think I was capable of doing much at all, but I kept following my passion and my instincts. So I got through uni. I didn't quit. I just thought, like, no matter what, I give myself credit. I like to finish stuff. So I'm like, I don't want to quit. I just will get this done. And I started to look at helping people with diets and training programs on the side, basically. So I was doing some like PT certs on the side, and I thought I can, make $100 here or there. So I launched my very first training program, which was it was like a Train Like Me PDF. I whipped it up on numbers. It looked pretty fucked. It looked like the most collapsed plan you'd ever get. But anyway, it worked. I sold it for $100, and I was selling probably 2 a week, I reckon. My mind was pretty blown at this point. When I made my first $100, like from a plan, I was like, this is crazy. And I remember doing the numbers breakdown. I was like to my dad, Dad, look at this. I just sold like 6 plans. And he's like, how long did it take you to write them? I'm like, 4 hours or whatever. And then he did the maths, and he realized that as I was going, and he's like, that's awesome. But then what? Because if you keep going like this, you're going to be working like the full, 10-hour days, and you're only making X amount per week, which wasn't that much at all. I was like, oh, fuck. So that was my next problem. So at this point, I start getting in with brands. I got approached by Gymshark, and I just like but I was almost shitting myself. I was like, this is crazy. How exciting is this? I'd already had an EHP Lab sponsorship at this point, had about 10,000 followers, and Gymshark offered me an affiliate role. And then they said, so we'll send you some stuff. Yada, yada, you get a code, things like that. Then a week later, they said, hey, Zach, we're actually canning the affiliate program. I was like, oh, you're kidding. They're like, so we're going to make you an athlete. I was like, happy days. So I became a Gymshark athlete, and I was like, this feels crazy. I wasn't getting paid anything, but I was like, this is nuts. Now, I had Gymshark and I had EHP Labs, and I wasn't really getting paid much from either of them because it was like really early days, 10K following. Like, what do you expect? And I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual numbers breakdown in just a second. We're going to get right into it, like at the peak. But the early days for me was literally just selling some nutrition plans and trying to post content. I was just posting photos, and then I just started to post YouTube. Now, posting YouTube really took off for me because, for one, it taught me how to talk to the camera. So nowadays, people are talking on Reels and they only talk for 20 seconds, and that's not a lot of practice. Whereas I was talking for 20 minutes, then I'd fuck it up and I'd have to do it again, and then I'd do it again, and I'd talk for an hour. So I built these skills of talking to a camera, which I did not have at all. So that came from YouTube, and then that transferred over to Instagram. And I was able to offer so much help and value on my YouTube channel that people went and followed my Insta because of it. So the YouTube was like single-handedly the best thing I ever did. And I was never going to do YouTube because I was shit scared. And one of my mentors at the time, who was a mate who helped me with sponsorships and stuff, he was like, hey, you need to do this. You got the personality to do it. You have to get out there. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I tried it and I was so scared and I really pushed past that. And now I'm really proud that I did that. So one thing I'm proud of is that I pushed past the fear of talking to the camera. But I remember thinking how many people this could possibly help. How many young guys out there this could help if I just go hard on this. And that's what kept me going. So you need a strong why. So let's take a break and I want to show you at the peak is probably why you clicked of like the earning potential of like what I was doing peak fitness. I'll start with coaching. So in a given month, coaching wise, was doing on average, I would say about 100K per month. Now this obviously didn't start like that. It started with literally about 500 bucks. And I was able to build this through a combination of organic and also paid ads to get that to 100K. So that wasn't pure profit, obviously, because I had some ad spend going to that and normal costs of running the business. So if you could run your business at like 50% profit margin, that would be great. I can't remember what mine was at this point, but like some months were 120K, some were under 100, but typically it was around 100K at this point. Sponsorships. So I had a couple good brands that I would be on a working with on a permanent basis, combination of like salary as well as basically commission code usage. So these can total up to be, I would say around like 20K just sponsorships by themselves. Every month I would have some kind of brand as well that I would work with, like casual clothes. I did stuff with like Cuts. I did stuff with hair product, Blue Men, did stuff with, I did some random things here and there, but like typically those ones were really good because it was like stuff that I loved and then I could just like promote it. So I didn't promote anything I didn't like, which is always a good thing. That every month probably came in a bit less, probably came in at about like, I would say 15, I would say on average. And then the good thing about keeping a brand that was like pretty clean, I suppose, was that like it makes it more accessible to that kind of stuff so that brands wouldn't be like, is he gonna get his dick out and like lose the plot? And we've just paid him as much as he's wearing a product. So I was pretty like clean in that sense and try to be marketable. AdSense from YouTube, I mean, I will say like, again, 15, something like that. I didn't really pay much attention because I just kept reinvesting it back into the videos and production. But typically something like YouTube, I reckon every 100,000 views, I'd probably get like $1,000 from that video. So that's pretty much how it would work on my end, I'm pretty sure. So none of this is to, like we could add it up, 100, 120. So it's around like 150 on average, I would say, in a month. And this was like when I'm just hitting a level of success that I hadn't really like even seen before. And this is not uncommon as well. But typically what happens when most people are in the influencing space is that this coaching is not that percentage at all. And it's actually sponsorships, maybe a bit of that and a bit of more brand deals as well. Typically less YouTube, and it ends up being like this. And they have a really small portion even of coaching that is, a few grand a month. And so when this slowly tanks, because it can, and it just dwindles after a while, because obviously it's hard to be at the top of your game for years and years and years and get new people, which is fair enough. This will shrink, and then you want this to basically, you want your business to start to take that slack. You don't want this to just shrink the whole pie altogether. So in my case, what happened when my engagement and stuff started to dip and maybe brands wouldn't pay as much anymore, maybe AdSense would go down. Typically, and this is where it's so funny, people will be like, oh, bro's fallen off. Fucking like, okay. What they didn't know is that like my pie just got like 2 to 3 times bigger. Only what they see gets smaller. Brand deals get smaller, but that's the difference. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I didn't do this for just money. I do what I do for self-fulfillment and because I love the game and I want to become the best version of myself and I want to help people at different levels of their journey. So it's funny when I see comments from people who are just seeing one little slice of the pie and they're making up their decision. They're hating from the comfort of their own bed. And they're like, bro, you've got no idea. Like you have no idea how much it takes to invest in understanding how to build a business. And like I've spent more than this on my knowledge to build a business, right? And this is how you do this stuff. If you don't know the answer to something, go and find out. Go and pay someone who does, or spend the time to find out the answers. Because if you're sitting there going, well, I don't know what to do, you kind of do, but you're either not doing it or you're not asking in the right direction. Cool. So now, throughout all this time, when I was like really, really growing and things were doing really well, hundreds of thousands of views all the time, I always had this feeling that I had like a fear, like a bit of a worry about the future because I was like, I need to make something. I need to create a business. I'm going to start something. And because I'm like, likes and socials are fleeting. I know people like come and go. And I knew I needed to really get a handle on that. So that became my next focus of like, how do I actually understand business? And this is where a lot of influencers completely fuck up, is that they build all this influence and following and they don't actually understand business, or they let other people do it all for them. That's a big one. And so then they still don't know. When they run out of their only asset, which is their following, they have nothing left. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I had to really invest in learning how to build a business from the ground up, how to run a team, how the whole thing works, from marketing, sales, delivery, like everything. And when I did that, huge relief, because I'm like, wow, I can actually control my income at this point. We launched Slash Potato Pajamas, me and my brother. And in the beginning, we had a huge day. It was like $120,000 in a single day or in 2 days. And I'm like, this is crazy. How good's this? But then after a while, guess what? My audience stopped buying, because you can't get someone to buy pajamas like 3 times in a row. Like they're done. Amazing product, but maybe they don't need 3 pairs. I have like 20 that I cycle through, but anyway. And at that point I was like, okay, well now I'm back to square one. So then that actually is what happened. And then like people are like, oh, that's crazy. An influencer has a brand, but it's only going to get you that little Kickstarter. And then you're just in the same pool as everyone else. So if you're starting something and you don't have a huge following, that's okay, because you don't need one. You don't need a huge following once you understand how this stuff works. So rewind, I'm 22 years old and I'm working at ASN selling supplements. I went from the chemist and then I graduated and got a job at ASN selling like sports supplements and protein powder. I was living the dream for about a year and then I'm like, okay, I need to do something else. So I was trying to get out of that job by doing online coaching, to try and make as much from online coaching as I could from this. And that's what I always recommend people do, is like, don't quit your job until you can somewhat match your income, or at least that justifies leaving and putting more time into coaching. Anyway, I managed to do that. I was working hard on every single weekend, just locked in, just working hard, trying to accumulate as much marketing from my Snapchat, from my Instagram stories, everything to get planned so that on weekends I could smash it and do my check-ins and all that. So when I quit my job at that point, and I went all in on coaching, I was able to make more content. I was able to go really deep on that. And I was already earning, so I was in a comfortable place. And at that time, my following kept increasing, and it was quite rapid at that point. So I tried to take advantage of it, and I got an app developed, which enabled my coaching to go through. And that was really, really handy. For most people, they don't need to go that far. You just literally choose one of them. But I went down this path and I just promoted that like crazy. So I had a lot of success with my online coaching. And the reason why was because my marketing, I believe. My marketing on YouTube, I would do every 12 to 16 weeks. I would basically run like a promo challenge style thing where I'd flip the offer, rename it, and just plug people in that way. I had a very authentic and genuine approach to marketing, which I still do, and I think it's really important to have. So I could tell people and tell them how good I believe the product was and the service, and I think they would just believe me, because it's not like I was hiding anything. I was saying, look, this is genuinely the best thing for this person. It's like I do when you see me promote the blueprint. The right person is genuinely the best thing you can ever do. And that comes across, especially nowadays. It's so important to be genuine and authentic, because that in your marketing will come across like crazy. So I built the coaching business to up to around $100,000 a month over. We had some months that were like 120. I was still ironing out like some of the kinks of a new business, because it was my first large business. Like went from doing, working retail to earning over $1 million in a single year. And I was like, I don't like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but this is all still new territory. Now, granted, that was like 6-7 years ago. So what's changed between like even then and now is like astronomical. So if I could go back right now and take my brain and put it back in younger version of me, I have no doubt that I probably would have been doing $500,000 months, probably more. So that's the benefit of trying to fast track your learning and learn from people who have done this, is you will save 6-7 years of time, right? So now the way that I look at a business at this point, and is probably what I didn't have as well back then, is 3 core divisions. We have the marketing, where we're bringing people in, and that is largely through ads. Now, I got fucked over by ads because I hired the wrong people to run my ads for me. My only life savings, 15 grand, down the drain. I had to get a loan from mum and dad of 10 grand for this ad specialist. And they literally wasted everyone's money. So I had to pay them back. And that was like the first sign of ads. And I'm like, this is scary. Got an next guy in. He kind of like fucked me over as well. And then I'm like, I need to do this shit myself. So I invested in learning how to do ads myself. And again, that's why it's different, because I know that now. And that's what I teach. I teach people this stuff now as well. So we have marketing, having ads and content. That's going to bring in the right leads of who you want to target. Then we need a sales system. So the sales system in the beginning is just you. It was just like in the beginning, it was just me. If you're under 20K a month, you probably don't need a sales team. But then over that, we have setters. We have appointment setters who are there to basically filter through leads and make sure that leads don't get like lost and fall through the bucket. And then we have application managers or sales closers, and they're the ones to actually take payment and basically take someone from that kind of qualified lead to client, and then a handover to the delivery. Delivery is your fulfillment of how you're going to deliver your service. So for online coaches, that's usually you or you have a sub coach, and then that kind of stems from under that. So within the business, you'll have those kind of key staff, and then you'll have either virtual assistants or other assistants to help out, people to do some tech stuff. And I always recommend the business owner be overseeing everything and then running important things like ads for a while. Because that, like, ads and marketing and content, I think is always top of mind, and you always have to do that. So like my biggest kind of takeaway and lesson from looking back at what, you know, has made over, literally, I said like 4 million in the title for that clickbait, but it's honestly more, it's way more. But I just thought that's like a pretty easy off the top of my head, but it's probably closer to like 5 or 6. So biggest takeaways from that: know everything. Like, you have to know everything about the business, because if you don't, you will just have to always rely on someone else. And if you're always relying on someone else, you don't even know what's possible. Whereas if at least you know it and you can do it, you can then hire someone and basically outsource it and manage it. The second thing is, you can't just be an influencer and rely on following, because it's not going to do anything for you. People, and I say this with love and respect, but people don't care as much as you think. So I could be loved and cherished and praised, and then I could be completely spat out and shat on, going, what happened? Like, yesterday I swear people liked me. Now they don't care. Or their sentiment changes so fast that now everyone thinks you're a certain way. And to me, that's like wild. And I wouldn't want to put my career and my like life on that alone. So I always think that, yes, following's good. And I appreciate the support I get on every single piece of content or anything. And I genuinely love it, and it lights me up. But I can't base my entire self-worth on following and social status on social media, because it's not real. And that people, some people are amazing, and some people will just go, yep, and they just turn. So you need to understand how to run a business, how to run a product or service, especially if you want to make the most money possible. Like, service is the best thing ever. Like, that's why I teach online coaching. That's why I run a mentorship. It's like teaching a service of all these little, these 3 core aspects that make up a business, and understanding that, and understanding how to acquire customers, how to create a good offer, and how to sell it for a high price and deliver a good service. Like, that is crucial. Like I said, I wish I could go back when I was just younger doing all this stuff, because I would have crushed it. But another kind of like lesson that I learned that took me so long to learn, cliche aside, believe in yourself. Because when I started, I did not believe in myself. I know that sounds kind of strange, but I didn't. I thought I sucked. I thought I didn't have any confidence. It was almost a fake it till you make it kind of scenario. I thought everything was going to be ripped out from underneath me. It was a massive case of imposter syndrome. Now that I look back at it, like, it really, I didn't think I deserved any success. And so when I got success, I didn't really even see it for what it was. I just thought like, oh, this is luck. Like, it shouldn't happen to me. I should enjoy it while I can, but I don't know. So I didn't feel like I really took it that, you know, and ran with it, but I lack self-belief. So learning from my experience, like, it's normal to feel that bit of imposter syndrome, or like you don't deserve stuff. And you know what, like, I guess no one deserves anything, right? Like, no one deserves success, but it's up to you if you want to be the one to go and say, you know, well, I want to go get it. And then it's entirely within your control and your power to go get that, based on the decisions that you make now. And my decisions that I made was letting too many people maybe run the show a little bit, and not thinking I was capable enough to learn stuff. And when that changed, when I thought I am capable of learning, everything changed. Absolutely everything changed. So it's fun to look at the numbers and go, wow, that's crazy. You can make 20 grand a month from YouTube, or you can do this month from brand deals. I had a laptop company pay me like 50K once to do a couple of videos. And I was like, what the fuck are you guys getting out of this? Because I wouldn't be like hiring me to talk about this laptop. Anyway, that was fun. But like, this stuff, it's all well and good, and it's fun to do that, but you need to understand how to run a business and how to create a business. Because then if your following just dropped off, you know how to do it again. You can build it again. You can build it from the ground up, and you're not reliant on such a fickle metric, such as like followers or likes. So yeah, if you crush it, back yourself in, learn marketing, understand how to run a business, you don't even need to rely on social media or to become like super famous. You just understand the process. You do paid ads, you understand marketing, sales, and delivery, and you provide a really good service. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, maybe some insights of my rambling. And if you do want to get my help with your online coaching business, then there'll be a link somewhere below to book in a free like 10-minute chat with the team to kind of have a chat about it. Comment below if that's you too, if you booked a timing, because I want to have a look. But otherwise, that is it for me. And you guys know what to do. Stay massive.